Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to explain to you what white collar crime is taking place in the Jewish community and why there is such a challenge to curb it. And in the next video, I'm going to tell you my personal story, my experience. Now, since I'm a logical person, I'm going to try to break this down into categories. Number one, we have in the Jewish community a concept called Beit, which means the house of judgment. We have a Jewish court of law, and basically, if both sides agree to it, which they're pretty much pushed to as a rule of Judaism, then they stand in front of judges and they tell their story, and the judges decides who wins. Now, the issue with that is very simple. There are different types of Beit Din, Jewish court of laws. There is the higher one, which is, when I say higher, more expensive. You have to hire a toin, which is something of like a defender, except he's an accuser also. He defends you, and he also tries to catch the other side. Not very different than in the non-Jewish court of law, in the American court of law. And they are very, very expensive. People could spend tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Sometimes people spend $500,000. I've heard of cases where they fight each other. So now if you have a situation where somebody screwed you for $3,000 or $30,000, what are you supposed to do? They also have community-based ins, which are a little more inexpensive. People don't take them seriously. But I think the biggest problem is that we're living in a time where people aren't as refined as they used to be. In the Jewish world, we call it Yeridas Adoros, the lowering of the generations. So how can you expect a practice to work for people that are expected to be morally valuable? When you're dealing with crooks that don't care and they lie and they sneak, then what is the point of bringing them to a place where they're going to play games anyways? So what if you get a judgment against somebody but they hide all their money? So what if you get a judgment against somebody and they just don't pay you? Or whatever the case is. I could go on and on. But the issue with Beit Din is that it doesn't have the respect that it needs, because the people that go to it quite often are crooks. If they were honest, then they probably wouldn't be there. The next step is that we are shunned away from going to non-Jewish court of law. And even if we do go to the non-Jewish regular American system, then what happens is that it's not taken seriously. For example, if a person attacks another person with a gun and they hold them up for $5, they go to prison, they get in trouble. But if a person figures out a way to sneak another person for millions, they get away with it. Why? The FBI is not interested. District attorney's not interested. In order for them to be interested in your case, it has to either be a Ponzi scheme or it has to be something that affects their bottom line. But nobody really helps the private guy, the small guy. And again, he's got to spend. I spoke to a high-level lawyer who told me, sure, you can hire me, but I'm going to get you a piece of paper that's not worth much more than your decision from Beit Din and your proofs and your paperwork and anything else, and you're just going to pay me 40, 50 grand. So what's the point of that? And then you have the last court, the court of public opinion. And in the Jewish world, we're very much shunned away from doing what I'm doing right now, speaking up. I've spoken to endless wealthy people, powerful people that could have either made me whole or helped me out. And their focus was one thing: welcome to the club. I'm sorry, I got screwed. That's what happens. It's acceptable. And you know why it's acceptable? It's acceptable because nobody's scared. You see, if this happened in, let's say, the Italian community or the Puerto Rican community, people are afraid. They'll get beat up, they'll get shot, they'll get killed. But because we're such a peaceful community, for the most part, we're not known for our violence, right? We kill with the pen, not the gun. So is the saying. So therefore, people are just not afraid. So they get away with what they can. And it is just incredibly unfair, and something needs to be done about it. In fact, in the Talmud, it says that when you go to Beit Din, it is their responsibility to help you as much as they can. And this is a place that we're lacking. And people might be upset that I'm speaking up, so be it. The fact of the matter is that there is a problem, and it's in all three areas of court. The Jewish court, it's not working. The non-Jewish court, it's not working. And the court of public opinion, which is shunned. We need to do something about this because too many people are getting cheated, and it affects their lives. It's affected my life, as I will share my story with you, and it is just unacceptable. So if you guys have any comments or opinions, I would love to hear. And if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear. But what I've experienced so far is that the more I speak to people, and it's been 3 years for me, I've been through a couple of experiences, but this last one, which was massive, and I'm going to tell you my story in my next video, it's been 3 years that I've had patience and patience and patience, living through threats and harassment, reverse harassment, where they threaten you by telling you you're threatening them just by asking respectfully to please work this out. I have my psak, I have my judgment, I am owed the full amount, but can't collect it. So you're going to hear my story, and I'm looking forward to sharing it. Hope you have a good one, and I hope this is interesting to you.